Good morning. As we go to the chitas of the day, we're holding, today is Wednesday, the fourth reading in the portion of Vayera. And we are holding in the story of Lot as he is being saved from the destruction of Sodom and Amorah. And we're holding on chapter 19, verse number 21. And he said to him, I'm going to show favor. Even to this situation, I'm going to show favor. Behold, as I will not turn over the city, which you have mentioned. Shalashi says that an angel said to him, not only will you be saved, but I'll save the entire city of Tzoya because of your sake. Ma'hi Malad Shama, run quickly there. I cannot do anything until you come there. And that's why the city was called Tzoya. Rashi continues and says, this is the angel's punishment. Because he says previously, I will destroy. He expresses himself as if he is the one who has the power and is doing the destruction. And that was, imagine an angel making a mistake. That was his mistake. And they seemingly said that they had the power to do it or not. So over here now he says, I cannot do nothing. Can't do nothing. I'm an angel. I don't have self-power. For I will not be able. This is singular. But again, Rashi keeps on expressing that every angel did a separate mission. This word we call tzoyer. The words, it is small, mitzar, the mitzar. Hashem the sun came out upon the earth. The Lot bought Tzoyer, and Lot came to the city of Tzoyer. The Lord caused the rain down on Sodom and Gomorrah, brimstone and fire. Min hashamayim from the heaven. Start to hail and fire. Where is it to the Lord? When it says it's the God and his tribunal. Him till at the rise of dawn, as it stated in the verse, as the dawn rose, at the time when the moon in the sky with the sun, early in the morning. Since some of them worship the sun and some of them the moon, the Holy One blessed be said, if I punish them in the day, the moon worshippers say, had it been at night, when the moon rules, we wouldn't have been destroyed. If I punish them at night, the sun worshippers will say, had it been the day, the sun rules, would have not been destroyed. Therefore, it's written, at the dawn rose. He punished them at the time when the sun and the moon both ruled, so to say. Himtig gofris ve'esh. At first it was rain, and it became brimstone and fire. From the Be'ez Hashem, it's customary from scriptures of the verse to speak in this manner, because it came from the heaven. It says, the wives of Abimelech said to him, my wives. And it says, it's brought like it's expression, that's the way the Torah expresses itself. So Rashi proves, Be'ez Hashem, from God, and it doesn't say from him, but from God. Min hashamayim, from the heaven, for he judges the nations therein with the heavens. When it comes to chastise mankind, he brings upon them fire from the heaven, as he did his dome when it came let down the man, came down from heaven. Behold, I rain down bread from heaven. So there is where God, so to say, gives good and the opposite. And then he turned over these cities. The Kikar, an entire plain. It's called Yeshua and all the inhabitants of the cities and the vegetation of the ground. So Rashi says he turned over physically, turned over the cities. The four cities of them were situated on a rock, and he turned them upside down. He stretched forth his hand upon the flinty rock, turned over from the root of the mountain, flipped over the city. Tabit Ishtem Achrav, and his wife, Noach's wife, turned around. She turned around to see what was happening, but and she became a pillar of salt. She became a pillar of salt. Why? Why salt? She sinned with salt, and she was punished with salt. He said to go give a little salt to these guests. She replied, also this evil custom you wish to introduce in this place to give salt? Enough that we're feeding these people. We're going to give them tasty food. We're going to give salt in their food. Yashka Avraham Avinu woke up in the morning, where he stood before when he spoke to God. He looked over the face of Sodom and Gomorrah. He saw the entire land. Behold, the smoke of the earth had risen like the smoke of a furnace. And when it came to pass that God destroyed the cities and the plains, the Eibishter remembered Abraham. And he sent in honor of Abraham, he saved Lot. In the midst of the destruction, when he overturned the cities in which Lot was living. What was the remembrance of Abraham, Rashi says? Have to do with Lot. He remembered that Lot knew that Sarah was Abraham's wife, and he was traveling with them. Lot was not such an honorable guy, but he kept quiet. And he heard Egypt that Abraham said about Sarah, she's my sister, yet he did not reveal the matter, because Lot had pity on Avraham Avinu. So therefore, he was saved. That saved Lot. That he kept silent in the face, not to tattletale on Avraham Avinu. That saved him. So he had some good in him. Verse 30, and Lot went up on Tzoyar. And he lived in the city. I'm in the heart of the mountain. Both of his daughters were with him. Because he was even afraid to live in Tzoyar. And he went to stay in a cave. Of him and his two daughters. So why was he afraid to be in Tzoyar? Because it was, Rashi says, because it was very close to Sodom. And the elder daughter said to the younger daughter, Avinu Zakein, our father is old. And they thought the whole world was destroyed. So they said, listen, that's it. It's only us three. We're never going to find a husband. We're not going to have any children. So that's what the older one said to the younger one, our father's old, and if not now, when? If we're not going to sleep with him, where are we going to have kids? And therefore, he might die, and there'll be no longer children in the world. And there's no man in the earth, because they thought that the entire world had been destroyed, like the generation of the flood. So they thought they would like the people in the boat, Noach's boat. But over there, Noach went with his wife, and his children had women. They went with their wives. So here we have a situation, we have a problem. It's only us three. So therefore, let's give our father wine. And that's a whole question. As Ashi will say in a minute, how do they find wine? V'nishkav imay, we'll get him drunk and we'll sleep with him. V'nichim avina zera, and we'll have on our father children. So that's what they did. So they got him drunk. So the older daughter came. She slept with him. Well, Yada b'shofar kamana, and he didn't know, and he did not know of her lying down and her rising. So Rashi says this was a miracle. A miracle happened. Wine was made available for them in the cave. Suddenly there was wine. There was a bottle of wine in the cave. Made possible. The Eibishter planned this whole thing out. And now 2 nations came out of that cave. Tishka, and she lay with her father. But in the case of the younger one, it says that she lay with him. It doesn't say she laid with her father. Here it sounds like an expression. Very very vulgar, expression. She laid with her father. So since the younger one was the younger one was not the initiator or the illicit of this illicit relationship. Even the world is against incest, but rather the sister taught her. The older one was more aggressive. Scripture covers up her and does not explicitly tell of her disgrace. It talks about the older one's disgrace. But concerning the older one who initiated the illicit relationship, scriptures have publicized her publicly that she came up with such an idea. Ubekuma, she says it's interesting that the Bekuma mentioned in conjunction with the elder is dotted. There's a dot. I mean, when there's a dot over the second vav, there's a dot on top of it, and to denote that when she arose, he did know. Uvekuma. So Lot knew what happened. He didn't know what happened when he initially slept with her, but when he got up, he knew that something happened. So he did know, but nevertheless, he was not careful to drink the next night. So he should have realized, oh wow, my daughters are getting me drunk, so that they would have a relationship with me. But he sat down the next night, got drunk too. So that was Lot, not such a holy individual. Now, Levi, whoever is inflamed by lust for illicit relationship will ultimately be made to eat his own flesh, to commit incest. It was the next day. It was the next day, and the older one said to the younger one, I slept with my father last night. Seems like they found 2 bottles of wine. Come and lay with him. So that's what happened. Verse 35. They got drunk the next night. They all didn't get drunk. He got drunk. And the younger one got up and she slept with him. And if you look at the word bekuma, you see there's no vav there in that last word. So in the younger one, the older one, there is a vav. In the younger one, there was no vav because she was much more modest. So she was probably disappeared right after they had the relationship. And both of the children of Lot conceived. So that says this was unusual, because usually a woman does not conceive from the first intercourse. Doesn't happen that usually. After a couple of times of relationship, these controlled themselves and took out their maidhoods and conceived in the first intercourse. So they knew how to do it, how to get pregnant in the first time. Ben, and the older one had a son, and she called him Moav. Who Avi Moav Adayim, he is the father of Moav until today. So Moav, Amen and Moav. Next one. Moav Zu. This one who was immodest publicized that he's from Moav, from my father. But the young one named him Ben Ami, the son of my people, and was rewarded in the time of Moshe. As it says to the children of Ammon, you shall not be involved yourself in the strife with them. But concerning Moav, he warned them not to wage war with them, but he permitted them to cause them pain. So Moav. You realize that ultimately, Rus Hamayavia, Rus comes out of the older daughter of Lot. So Rus ultimately comes out of Lot. Rus, who's the converted and is the grandmother, great grandmother of David HaMelech, comes out of this older daughter, Moav. So both of them were ultimately were rewarded. Batzira Gam Yoda Ben, and the younger one also had a child, Vatikishmei Ben Ami, and she called it the son of my nation, who Avi Bnei Aman Amayim. This is the children of Ammon until today. Chapter 10, 20, verse number 1. Avram traveled from there to the land of the south. He traveled away, as Rashi is going to explain why. And he moved to between Kadesh and Shur, and he lived in Gerar, in the county of Gerar. So Rashi said when he saw the cities had been destroyed and the travelers had ceased to pass by, because nobody was going towards Sodom anymore, he immigrated from there. Another explanation, distanced himself from Lot, who had acquired a bad reputation. When it was found out that Lot had slept with his daughters, he now became, because again, even the nations were against such kind of relation, incest. Avram said to Sarah when they came to Gerar, when he said to Sarah, his wife, like they were. So the Gemara says that Sarah was so beautiful. Here they were the Sarah was over 90, Avram was over 100, was almost 100, and Sarah was 90. But he kept on saying, "You say my sister." And Avimelech Melech went and said, "Okay, I want your sister for marriage." So Rashi said over here did not ask for permission, but said that she was her sister, forcibly against her will, because she already taken Pharaoh's house on account of it. So therefore, he didn't. Over here, you don't see he asked her. Al Sarah Ishtay, about Sarah his wife, and similarly concerning Al. So Al means about. That's what Rashi is saying the word Al, about. God came to Avimelech in a dream. You're going to die on this woman. You have a relationship. You're going to want to have a relationship with a married woman. Avimelech did not touch her. And he asked God, he said, I never touched her in his dream. He asked God, I never touched her. What are you complaining about? We never had a relationship. But really, Rashi says, Avimelech did not come near her because the angel stopped him. As it says, in Pikei Eliezer, I did not let you touch her. You're going to see. God says, you didn't touch her. I didn't let you touch her. Hagam said, Tarek, even if the righteous, will you kill him? Is that your way to destroy the nations for naught? You did so in the generation of flood and the generation of dispersion. I too will say that you destroyed them for no reason. Thus, you threatened to kill me. Challenge Avimelech, challenge God. Did he not say that she's my sister? And she said he's my brother. With the innocence of heart, and with the purity of my hands, I had no idea that she was married. Rashi says even she, even comes to add, even includes the servants. Everybody said that she's a sister. Not only that, even the animals were saying he's a sister. It's my brother. The table of Avi. I did not intend to sin. V'kain kapi. I'm pure of sin, for I did not touch it. So that's what God says. So God said to him in a dream. I know that. I know you did this in the innocence of your heart. And I withheld you from sinning. If I didn't want to, if you were evil, then maybe I would you would have done something. But I held you back because you're a righteous person. I'm not arguing with you. You're a righteous person. Rash says, I know in an innocent heart, it's true that you did not intend for sin, but you can't claim purity of hands. Don't be so holy and not let you. It was not due to you that you didn't touch her, but I prevented you from sinning. So don't be so holy. You're not that holy. And I didn't give you the strength. And so below, God did not let you. But her father, now return this man's wife. Because he's a prophet. And he'll pray for you. And you will live. But if you're not going to return his wife, know that you will die. You and everything that you have. So now return his wife, and don't think that perhaps she will be, he's not going to want to take her back. He'll think that she had a relationship, and will not accept her, or will hate you and pray for, because he's a prophet. He knows that nothing happened. He knows you. He's a prophet. Avraham Avinu is a prophet, and he knows that you did not touch her. Therefore, he will pray for you. Avimelech woke up in the morning. And he summoned all the servants. He said, listen here, my friends. Look what happened. And as the Medrash says, we all got sick. Everyone in the whole palace got sick that night. They all came down with the flu, and they all got sick. And therefore they became frightened. Then Avimelech called Avram. What have you done to us? We're all sick. We're almost dead. Why have I sinned? I haven't done sin to you. You brought upon me and my kingdom such a sin. Things that I've not done, you did with me. So that's what happened. What happened was, as Rashi says, a plague that was not accustomed to come upon any creature that had come upon us. Because you basically, as it would happen in Egypt, happened in Avimelech and his kingdom. Everybody became, in the palace, became stuffed up. Nothing, constipation of everything. Nothing was coming out of any place. And there was great pain. The whole palace was sick. So he said to him, what did you see? Because you did such a thing. So Avram said, I said, if I were going to tell them not to sin, then nobody fears of God in this place. He'll kill me. Because of my wife. Rashi says a guest who comes to a city, do we ask him about eating and drinking, or do we ask him about his wife? So when I came to the city of Gerar, nobody asked me if I need to have food. They will all ask me, oh, who's this beautiful woman? So I was thinking to myself, why is everybody asking about my wife? Shouldn't they first ask me if I'm hungry? So therefore I realized, these people that are all interested in my wife, they're not interested in help, in being welcoming into their homes to feed me, but they're all worried about my wife. So I realized that they're immoral people. All worried, but here's a beautiful woman that has come in their midst. And number two is V'gam amna chosi bas avihi. and indeed she is my sister, the daughter of my father. Achle bas imi, but she's not the daughter of my mother. So she is a half, so to say, as you should see. So the daughter of one's father is permitted by Noah if you like a half sister. For the Gentiles have no father. His lineage is not traced from his father, it's traced from his mother. In order to justify his words, he answered him in this way. Now, if you ask, was she the daughter of his brother? She was not the daughter of his father. She was the daughter of his brother. Sarah was his niece. The answer is grandchildren considered children. So since it was his father's granddaughter, which was from a different brother, so he said, she is my half-sister from my father. That's the trick. Therefore, she was considered as Terah's daughter. And if she was considered as Terah's daughter, then she's considered as my sister. Therefore, she was considered as Terah's daughter. And so did he say to Lot, we are kinsmen, Nashim, we are brothers. So that's why he called Lot, who was also his nephew. He said, we're brothers. How we're brothers? I'm the uncle, you're my nephew. But he considered Lot as a brother, because Lot was also a grandson of Terach. And a grandson is like a son. So if it's a son of Terach and I'm the son of Terach, we're brothers. Technically. So Avraham Avinu, that's the way Avraham Avinu considered his niece and his nephew as brother and sister. So he said basically, I'm really, I consider her like a sister. She's my niece, but I consider her like a sister. Why did he say from my father, not from my mother? Because Haran was born of a different mother. So Haran was the father of Lot. His father Sarah. So he considered her and for a different mother. Terach had a different wife, a couple of wives. And Terach had Avram from one wife, and he had a Haran for the second wife. So he in essence is justifying why he called her a sister. That calling her the sister was also not a lie in Avram Avinu's eye.
Confusing. Whoa.
That's the way they considered it. It's interesting. That's the way they considered. That's the way he says that he considered my niece. I considered my sister, even though she's not really a sister. So therefore, verse number 13, so therefore, we decided when God caused me to wander from my father's home, I said to my wife, Sarah, this is the kindness you'll do with me. Wherever we travel, tell everybody you're my brother. She says, uncle renders as he rendered, and it came to pass, and the people went astray from the work of their hands, and God brought me near to fear, to his fear from the house of my father. However, it can be interpreted in a more appropriate manner according to the structure as follows. When the Holy One blessed me, took me from my father's house to wander, roaming from place to place, I knew I would pass through places where there were wicked people. And therefore I said to her, this is the cause. Next Rashi is a grammar. And the second Rashi say about me, this meaning about me, similarly, the people of the place asked Ishtai about his wife. So it's Imru Li said to me, it's really Imru Eli said about me. So that when people started talking, when I came to places and I heard conversations with more about my wife than about anything else, I realized I'm coming to places that they're more interested in my wife and they're evil people. Avimelech took Avimelech took flock and cattle and maidservants and maids. He gave it to Abraham. He gave him back his wife. So Avram, he gave him more to appease him because they were sick. And the Abish said, you better treat them well, so he'll pray for them. He'll pray for you. Avimelech said, listen, here's my land. Don't worry, you can pick anywhere you want to live. Wherever you want to dwell in this land, you can have it. Rashi says over here, Avimelech told him to stay. By Avofare, the previous story by Pharaoh, he said, no, get out of here. The Pharaoh told him, get out of here. Because the Egyptians were immersed in lewdness. So there was much more immorality in Egypt than in Gerar. And the Sari said, "Oh, I'll give you 1,000 gold pieces to your brother. Behold, it will be covering of your eyes. Whatever you have as whatever with all of you shall content." So Rashi says, and Sari said, Avimelech said, in her honor, in order to appease her, behold, I bestowed upon you this honor. I give money to your brother, about whom you said he's your brother. Behold, his money and his honor are to you as a covering of the eyes. Interesting expression. Rashi continues, they will cover their eyes, so they will not denigrate you. For I have returned you empty-handed. They could say, after you violated, returned it. Now that I have spent so much money and to appease you, they will know that it was against my will I returned you. They will know that against my will I return you, and through a miracle. It was not, I used you and I threw you away. I didn't touch you. I would have loved to marry you, but you're married. You're yourself as a married woman, and the reason why this whole thing happened was a miracle happened, and it saved both of us, saved you and saved me. And this with all this, and this with all the people of the world. And you shall have an opportunity to contend and to show that evident fact. Whenever the word Heichacha appears, it refers to the clarification of the matter. So to improve, to prove, to clarify. Uncle is translated as a different manner, and the language of the verse fits with the Targum in the following manner. Behold, it will be a covering of honor on the account of my eyes, which gaze upon you and upon who are with you. Therefore, translate, I saw you and all who are with you. There are Midrashic interpretation, but I've explained to fit the language of the verse. So this is a very interesting verse, as you can see. Everybody can see it's an interesting verse, and therefore there are many Midrashim exactly. I mean, in essence, Avimelech wanted to emphasize that nothing happened, and that's why you continue, and we know next week's portion. Rashi says that the Medrash says that people who did talk later that suddenly Sarah became pregnant. And people were saying that it was from Avimelech, it was not from Avram. Therefore, God had to make another miracle that Abraham and Isaac looked like one another, so nobody would be able to say that it was from Avimelech. Avram, and Abraham prayed by Avimelech, and God healed Avimelech, Ves Ishtay and his wife, Moisav and his maids, and they gave birth. So Rashi says they were relieved, the offices were open, they healed from their constipation, and they expelled which is needed to be expelled, and that is their birth, their children also. Because the Lord has shut down every womb in Avimelech's home, Al Dvar Sarah Eish Avram, because of Sarah, the Abraham's wife. Ba'at Kol Rechi K'nei Kol Pesach, every bodily opening was closed, even childbirth. Al Dvar Sarah, by the word of Sarah, again, like the Pharaoh, by the word of Sarah, through the words of Sarah. So Sarah closed everybody down. Chapter 21, verse number 1, Hashem pakana Sarah, and God remembered Sarah. Kasherama, what like he said, Vayas Hashem la Sarah kashediber, and the Eibishter did to Sarah as he promised. So Rashi says, this section was placed next to the previous section to teach us that whoever begs mercy for his friend, which Abraham does beg mercy for Avimelech, when he needs the same thing, he's answered first. And that's why it says that Abraham prayed for Avimelech, and immediately it follows that God gave Sarah the capability of childbirth. Pakar Sarah b'yiroyin, she became pregnant. Kashadiba b'leida, concerning the promise of birth. And now where does expression saying, and when expression is speaking, saying Amida is mentioned, and God said by Yemen, indeed his wife Sarah, speaking Dibber is mentioned. The word Dibber came to Abraham. So actually you see, again, it's more grammar that we sometimes use the word Diber, and sometimes it uses the word Amar. And God did to Sarah what God told Abraham. And Sarah conceived, and she bore a son to Abraham, to the year that God has spoken to him. Have an argument. Abiyudin said this teacher she bore after 9 months, so that it should not be said that she conceived from Avimelech. So that's why it was 9 months later. Rabbi Chama said it was 7 months later. And this all connected, really, the whole Gemara is connected. When was she born? When was Yitzchak born? Pesach, Rosh Hashanah. There's a whole argument in the Gemara. Moed, uncle, the Milsi Yasser, the time when he's spoken are fixed. When the angel said to him, at the appointed time, I will return to you. He made a scratch in the world and said, when the sun reaches this scratch next year, she'll give birth. So real tradition has it was Pesach. Question is when this story happened. And we have to figure out this whole Talmud. When did exactly the story happen of Avimelech? So now you're going to figure out how many months later it happened. Zikunov. So Rashi says Zikunov has two meanings. Can be expressed two meanings. Zikunov is his old age because Abraham was 100. The Zikunov also means to his image. Now Isaiah said that Isaac's facial features were like his father. Abraham and Isaac look like each other. And that's why there's another message that says that later Abraham prayed to God that he should have old age. He should become older looking, get white. Because they couldn't tell apart the difference between Abraham and Isaac. They look like brothers. They both were young looking. So Abraham prayed to God that he should become white. And that's when men started becoming white. People started becoming white as they aged. So Abraham, you can see the difference between Abraham and Isaac, that Isaac had a black beard, a red beard. I don't know, there's a message even the color of his beard. And Abraham was white. So that's how you told the difference. But there was a period of time, you couldn't tell the difference between these two people, father and son, that they were both looked like each other. And Abraham called his son Yitzchak. Verse 4, and Abraham circumcised Yitzchak at 8 days old, as God commanded, that from now on it should be 8 days old. And that completes the Chumash of the day. Long Chumash today. We now go to the Tanya of the day. We are continuing the 27th letter of the Alter Rebbe. Beautiful letter that the Alter Rebbe is explaining to the Jews in Israel who just lost their leader, Mendel Haradoka. And he was a great leader, and they were in total lost and depressed. And the Alter Rebbe wrote them this letter telling them that they actually, the Mendel Haradoka's, the Shomer is greater with them now than he was there with them before. Alter Rebbe emphasized, we are 2 days in this letter, and we continue as follows. It stated in the Zohar, Alter Rebbe says, when a tzaddik departs from this world physically, he is found in all the worlds more than during his lifetime. So that's the statement of the Zohar. That tzaddik is more here when he passes away than when he's here in the physical. But so the Alter Rebbe says, what's the meaning of the Zohar? I can understand in the upper worlds that the tzaddik is greater in the upper worlds when he passes on than when he's in the physically here. Because the neshama goes higher and higher in the upper worlds. But how do you say that tzaddik is more in this world when he is passed away than when he's alive? How is that possible to say? So the Alter Rebbe answers. So I'll answer you according to the statement of the sages. The sages of blessed memory said, that a sage, that a departed tzaddik has left life to all the living. As mentioned above, the expression is problematic. Surely he has not left anyone life which is not their own. Now, the Rebbe will now explain that the sense it may truly be said that the departed tzaddik left his surviving disciples something of his own life. The tzaddik did not leave. In essence, it means the tzaddik did not leave. The tzaddik, the righteous man, left something of his life in this world. Now the question is, the tzaddik's not alive. So what did he leave? So the answer is, what is the life of a tzaddik? You have to first answer, what is the life of a tzaddik? If the tzaddik life is about his physicality is not here. But if the life of the tzaddik, even when he's alive, is not the physical life, the life of a tzaddik is a spiritual life. As it's known, the life of a tzaddik, even when he's alive, is not a physical life. That's why righteous people live above nature. The life of a tzaddik, if you ever saw a tzaddik, you would know this. The life of a tzaddik, of a righteous man, is a spiritual life, even when he's alive. And what is the meaning? It's a spiritual life. You can see on the tzaddik that his life is about faith. His life is about fear of God. His life is about love. That's the life of a tzaddik. So these he possesses not only for himself, but he transmitted to his disciples as well. You could see that his students saw that his whole lifetime. When he was here physically, his students saw. They lived with his faith. They lived with his love. They lived with his fear of God. The tzaddik, as it says, in faith. It says by a tzaddik lives by his faith. You can see the tzaddik's faith when he's alive. And you see the most important thing to the tzaddik is his amunah, his faith in God. The awe of God leads to life. So you can see the tzaddik's awe of God. And so too you can see the tzaddik's love. One who pursues tzedakah and chesed will find life, because that's real life. So what is real life? Now the Rebbe says, if real life is the physical, then it's a problem. If real life is the life force of the tzaddik, his love of God, his fear of God, his kindness, his faith in God, the chesed u'ava, and kindness is love. So hence, when the term life is used to describe chesed, it applies to love as well. So to sum up, faith in God, the awe and love in him are thus all referred to as life. That's real life. That is the meaning of life. How do I express my faith? How I express my love? How I express my kindness? How do I express my awe of God? That is life. These three attributes of faith, awe, and love, these concepts are in all levels of the world, of all worlds. Each one according to the levels of the world. One higher than the other by a cause and effect, as no. So in essence, that's why the tzaddik keeps on going higher and higher and higher in the upper worlds. What goes higher? You're not traveling on an elevator. What goes higher? His ava goes higher. His all goes higher. His emunah goes, faith goes, and keeps on going higher and higher. It's unlimited because it's all in the aspect of God. God is unlimited, and his journey, his life is unlimited. We're not finished yet. And but that completes the Tanya of the day. Frierdiker Rebbe established what you should learn every day in Tanya. So he wanted to stop right over here. He wants to keep us to anticipate tomorrow's Tanya. And the Alter Rebbe is going to. It's interesting how some chapters of Tanya, the previous Lavish Rebbe divided it in many days. And over here, the Frierdiker Rebbe divided this chapter 27, a very important chapter. He divided it. Now we're going tomorrow is the fourth day. I'm not sure how many days. I don't have a Tanya in front of me, but divided it in many days. And he wanted to seemingly that it should sink into us this concept. What is the meaning of the life of a tzaddik? Maybe we could all have the meaning. What's really the meaning of life? And therefore, if you understand the meaning of the life of a tzaddik, maybe we'll all have an understanding what meaning of true life is all about.
Wow.
That completes the Tanya of the day. Today is the 14th day of the month of Cheshvan, Mar Cheshvan, the 14th day of this month. The chapters of Psalms for today is chapter 72, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76. So 72 to 76 of your Psalms, and you would have done, you'll do the chitas of the day.
Thank you, Rabbi. It's like a
See you tomorrow at 8 a.m. where we will continue the chitas.